Hey everyone, welcome back to Court Profits. We're about a month into the 2025-26 college basketball season, and things have already been wild. Today, we're breaking down the top 5 most impressive teams so far and the top 5 most disappointing teams. From surprise contenders lighting it up to blue blood programs stumbling out of the gate, we've got it all. Let's dive in, starting with the teams that have been the most impressive so far. By far the most impressive teams so far early on in the season are the Michigan Wolverines. Like a tsunami, Michigan is demolishing everything in its path. The Wolverines tore through the Players Era Tournament in Vegas, winning 3 games by a combined 110 points. They didn't just beat good teams, they obliterated them. Michigan clobbered then number 21 Auburn by 30 points and handed Gonzaga its worst loss in Coach Mark Few's 902-game career with a 101-61 beatdown. That's 4 straight wins by 20-plus points, including 2 ranked victims. With Coach Dusty May in his second year, Michigan looks like a title contender, playing with swagger and making every game look like a varsity versus junior varsity scrimmage. Next up are the Iowa State Cyclones. They have been the surprise powerhouse. The Cyclones are undefeated and lead the nation in scoring. Their offense and defense are both ranked top 10 in efficiency. Iowa State was very impressive by handing it to number 1 Purdue 81-58 on the road in West Lafayette. That 23-point beatdown was Purdue's worst home loss to a non-conference team ever and one of the most impressive wins college hoops has seen in years. 4 Cyclones scored in double figures in that game, showing it's not just a one-man show. This Cyclone squad also owns quality wins over the likes of Creighton, Syracuse, Mississippi State, all by comfortable margins. This team is taking care of opponents with high tempo and toughness. No wonder Iowa State shot up to number 2 in some power rankings. They are on a roll, and after that historic upset of Purdue, the sky's the limit for the Cyclones. Now let's head out west in a team that should be feared, and that is the Arizona Wildcats. If you haven't seen them play yet, then heads up because Arizona is legit. The Wildcats have arguably the best resume in college basketball so far. They started the year by taking down the defending national champion Florida Gators, serving notice that this team means business. Arizona hasn't stopped there. They also notched a statement win over then number 5 UConn on the road, which to date is UConn's only loss, and most recently blew out number 20 Auburn 97-68. Under Coach Tommy Lloyd, the Wildcats are 8-0 for only the 3rd time, and they're ranked number 1 in some metrics and polls. Arizona plays fast, fearless offense, and has depth at every position. They're hitting on all cylinders, and it's easy to make a case for Arizona as the number 1 team in the nation right now. The Wildcats are clawing through opponents with big wins, and they've got fans in Tucson dreaming of a Final Four. Don't let that one ugly loss to Michigan fool you. The Gonzaga Bulldogs are still a powerhouse and has had an impressive start. Sure, Michigan humbled the Zags in Vegas, but Mark Few's squad responded with a vengeance. The Bulldogs have quality wins in their pocket. They took down number 12 Alabama in the Players Era opener and then absolutely annihilated number 18 Kentucky by 35 points in Music City. Gonzaga now sits at 9-1, and they've been pounding lesser opponents too. Outside of the Michigan misstep, nobody has had an easy time with the Bulldogs. This team has firepower and a chip on its shoulder. Consider the Michigan blowout a wake-up call. Since then, Gonzaga has been playing like a team possessed, reminding everyone why they're a perennial contender. The Duke Blue Devils are creating a buzz in Durham once again. Their best start since 2017-18, and they've already proven themselves in big games. Duke has 4 Quad 1 wins, the most in the nation, meaning they're beating quality opponents left and right. They went on the road and took down Michigan State 66-60 in East Lansing, with freshman phenom Cameron Boozer posting 18 points and 15 rebounds in that hostile environment. They also edged number 15 Florida in a 1-point thriller, one of 3 ranked teams Duke has toppled so far. Duke's defense has been clutch, and they're finding ways to win close games. With an electric mix of youth and experience, Duke looks every bit a title threat. They're playing fast, sharing the ball, and bringing the Cameron Crazies plenty to cheer about. Love them or hate them, you can't deny they're off to an impressive start, and the rest of the country is officially on notice. Those were the 5 teams making headlines for all the right reasons. Dominance, upsets, you name it. But now it's time to flip the script. Let's talk about the teams on the other end of the spectrum, the ones giving their fans heartburn. These are the top 5 most disappointing teams so far in 2025 to 26. Talk about a championship hangover. That is what the Florida Gators seem to have. The Florida Gators won it all last season, but this fall has been rough. The defending champs are just 5-3 and have looked pedestrian at times. They opened the season by getting handled by Arizona, and recently they've lost 2 of their last 3 games, including a flop against unranked TCU and a down-to-the-wire loss to Duke. That Duke game was a heartbreaker, but still, Gator fans didn't expect to see 3 early losses before SEC play. Florida's ranking plummeted from top 5 down to around number 20, and they're searching for answers. Overall, the team just isn't clicking yet like last year. The offense has sputtered in crunch time, and the defense looks a step slow. It's still early, but Florida needs to wake up fast if they want to look like defending champs. Big Blue Nation might as well have been called Big Boo Nation in Nashville, and they are not a happy bunch. Kentucky's season has been, in a word, ugly so far. The Wildcats are 5-4 and already essentially out of the top 25, with each loss coming in high-profile games. They fell to their rival, got outplayed by Michigan State a week later, and blew a late lead at home to North Carolina. Then maybe worst of all, they suffered a humiliating 94-59 blowout at the hands of Gonzaga. Yes, as wild as it sounds, Kentucky lost by 35 points on a neutral court, and fans were booing the team off the floor by halftime. Even former UK star DeMarcus Cousins tweeted that this team has no heart. The stats are painful. In that Gonzaga loss, Kentucky shot just 26.7% overall and 7 of 34 from 3, and they were dominated on the glass and in the paint. Coach Mark Pope, who is in his second year, is taking blame and scrambling for fixes. To be fair, the Wildcats have a young roster loaded with talent, but so far they look lost. Considering Kentucky reportedly has one of the most expensive, star-studded rosters in college hoops, sitting at 5-4 is downright disappointing. There's time to turn it around, but right now Kentucky is playing more like a bracket busters victim than a title contender. Normally a 7-3 record at this stage wouldn't be panic-worthy, but Kansas isn't normal. The Jayhawks have already lost 3 games. Even though those L's came against quality opponents such as North Carolina, Duke, and UConn, it's still a shock to see Bill Self's squad take a trio of defeats before New Year's. Kansas actually dropped out of the AP Top 25 briefly after an early skid, before clawing back in at number 21 with a few rebound wins. There have been bright spots. They scored a big Feast Week victory over Tennessee, but overall, this team hasn't quite gelled as expected. The defense has been leaky at times, and the offense too reliant on 1 or 2 guys. The good news, it's a long season and plenty of time for their stars to get healthy. UCLA gets a spot here largely thanks to one very head-scratching result. The Bruins were ranked in the top 20, cruising at 6-1, and then in the Empire Classic Championship game, they got stunned by unranked California 80-72. That upset knocked UCLA out of the AP poll. They fell from number 18 to completely unranked and left fans in Westwood scratching their heads, but UCLA was heavily favored to win that tournament. Instead, the Bruins came out flat and paid for it. Overall, UCLA's 2 losses aren't end-of-world stuff, but it's the way they lost, looking disorganized and lackluster against Cal's zone defense. Coach Mick Cronin is known for tough, disciplined teams, so seeing UCLA drop a very winnable game raises alarms. For now, that shock loss to Cal is a glaring black mark on their resume. The Rick Pitino St. John's era in Queens got off to a loud start, new transfers, big hype, preseason ranking, but reality has hit hard. St. John's came in ranked number 15, only to suffer some early disappointments. They dropped a high-scoring game to then number 12 Alabama, and then in the Las Vegas Players Era tourney, the Johnnies went 1-2. They sandwiched the win over Baylor with losses to Iowa State and Auburn. That result sent them plummeting in the polls. In fact, St. John's had the biggest rankings drop of any still-ranked team that week. The defense has been a mess at times, including giving up 103 points to Bama, and the offense inconsistent despite some talented pieces. Pitino himself called the Vegas trip growing pains for a new group, and he's not wrong. It takes time to build chemistry. Still, for a fan base starving for a return to glory, these early stumbles are frustrating. The Red Storm's record sits at 5-3, and they're unranked, not exactly the immediate resurgence fans dreamed of. There's still Big East play ahead to change the narrative, but as of now, St. John's has been more drizzle than storm. And there you have it. 5 teams lighting up the season, and 5 teams who are not. Of course, it's still early. The impressive teams will have to prove they can keep it rolling all the way to March, and the disappointing teams have plenty of time to get their act together. That's the beauty of college basketball. Things can change in a hurry. If your team made the impressive list, enjoy the ride and start dreaming of March Madness glory. If your team made the disappointing list, don't lose hope. A big win or two can turn the season around. One thing's for sure, this season has already delivered upsets, blowouts, and breakout stars, and we're just getting started. Thanks for hanging out with us for this college basketball season update. If you enjoyed this energetic breakdown, give us a like and subscribe to Court Profits for more fun college hoops content. Let me know in the comments which team has shocked you the most so far, for better or worse.